Hello, Angel Santiago here. I just want to take a moment to share with you some thoughts about personal leadership, what it means, what it involves, what's within it, how can you benefit from it, what can you do to develop that. So let's dive in. Personal leadership, it's all about the leader's technical, psychological, and moral development, and its impact on his or her leadership, his presence, skills, behavior, and how they impact other people, how they lead other people. Personal leadership, it's the answer to take your leadership to the next level. Personal leadership has three elements, okay? It's got the technical know-how and skill, the right attitude towards yourself and others, and here's the most important one, I feel: personal self-mastery. The first element, technical know-how and skill. That's all about knowing your strengths and your weaknesses at the technical level. So again, your technical strengths and weaknesses, and that you take action into updating them, maintaining them, developing them. There's a couple of examples like time management, understanding your own psychology, understanding group psychology, the people that you're leading. There's also 6 sets of skills that underline the public and private leadership behaviors. Okay, and those are problem-solving skills, planning skills, group decision making, interpersonal ability, which has a strong overlap with emotional intelligence, and managing the group process, your assertiveness, how assertive you are as a leader, and then your ability to set goals. The second element is the attitude towards others. The second element is having a good attitude towards yourself and others. So that is all about developing the right attitude towards yourself, towards your colleagues, in order to maintain healthy relationships within the people that you lead. Now there's a couple of things that you can do. There's 5 parts for that, the right attitude towards yourself and others. There's interdependence, appreciation, caring, service, and balance. Now there's 2 keys that you can do to develop those 5 aspects. Again, interdependence, appreciation, caring, service, and balance. To me, service also has to deal with having a servant leadership, a servant attitude towards the people. So that's also something to remember. So there's 2 keys to developing these 5 aspects, and that's vision, common and shared vision. But that vision starts with you first, you as the leader, but that the people that you lead can buy into that vision. And then 2, that you as the leader are working on your personal self-mastery to reduce any self-esteem issues that may make it hard for you to connect with others, appreciate others, and again, adopt a good attitude. That's service leadership, that servant attitude, okay? So personal leadership, again, self-mastery is key. That's what I was saying earlier. Self-mastery is probably the most important one. And I would even take it a little bit further. It's very important that you as the leader are helping your people to master themselves as well. And we're going to talk a little bit further down the video about the 4 levels of leadership, and you'll see what I'm talking about there. So then that brings us to the third element, which is personal self-mastery. Now, self-mastery is all about knowing yourself, having awareness, understanding your own mind and taking control of your mind, being at peace, having presence, understanding your unconscious limiting beliefs, updating them, understanding what your defense mechanisms or your behavior patterns are that could lead into conflict or to avoid conflict. And it also, personal self-mastery helps the leader to connect strongly with his or her values and to let that leadership presence flow and to act from a genuine, authentic place for those that he or she serves, the people that he or she leads. Now, in order to achieve personal self-mastery, there's a couple of things you got to do, right? And 2 of those is that you're leading an intentional life and that you're doing mindfulness and meditation practices. Those are 2 huge key things. Those mindfulness and meditation practices are going to lead to your own leadership presence. But what is presence? Presence is sort of like central to this whole personal mastery thing. So presence, it's at its root, it's all about wholeness, you as an individual wholeness, right? And that it's a rare but attainable inner alignment of self-identity, purpose, and feelings that eventually leads to freedom from fear. It reveals itself as a magnetic radiating effect you have on others. And when you're being the authentic you give them your full respect and attention, speaking honestly and letting your unique character traits flow. As a leader, you must be technically competent to gain other people's respects, but it's also your own unique, genuine presence that inspires people and prompts them to trust you, and then again, to follow you, to want you as their leader. So that's sort of how how presence is defined. It's one of the best definitions that I've found. It came from an author named Schuyler in a book he wrote in 2011. Now, when it comes to presence, don't get it confused with charisma, because a lot of people can be charismatic. It's not the same thing. Think about presence, about being in the present moment, be fully engaged with who you are, whoever you're leading in that moment, okay? So you can be a very charismatic leader and then rely on your title or your position to be the leader, and that's not necessarily the same thing. Presence goes a little bit more deeper. It's more authentic, it's more fundamental, and it's more powerful, and it has nothing to do with titles. It has to do with who you are, the wholeness of who you are. Are you authentic? Are you genuine? Are you living from the inside out? Are you living intentional? Are you being purposeful? Okay? Now, there's 7 things when it comes to presence, okay? 7 things when it comes to presence that we need to develop. Now, in these videos, I'm gonna break down each of these things in the subsequent videos, okay? So this is sort of like an overview about personal leadership, and then I'm gonna go into each of those things one by one. And the 7 qualities of presence are personal power, which means that you have command over your own thoughts, feelings, and your actions. High, real self-esteem. Again, authentic, genuine self-esteem. The drive to be more, learn more, do more, and grow more. A balance of an energetic sense of purpose with a concern for the service of others, and also respect for their free will. Intuition, being in the now, and then inner peace and a sense of fulfillment. Now, according to some of the research that I've done, presence is developed by practicing personal leadership. How do you become a great leader? By being a present leader. And you do that through this concept of personal leadership. There's 4 levels of leadership. First, you need to lead yourself. Personal leadership, everything we're talking about here. Then you lead others. Once you lead yourself, then you can help other people to lead themselves within this personal leadership context. Then you lead leaders. And then, because you've already helped them develop themselves into leaders to lead themselves, so now you're leading leaders. And then you lead teams of leaders who are leading teams of leaders. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the whole entire time, you're developing leaders. You're adding value to the people that you care about. You're equipping them with the right tools and resources so they can grow. All in all, the type of leadership that I'm talking about here is transformational leadership. Because as people grow, as people get better, as people transcend their limitations, they transform themselves. So this is all about transformational leadership, but transformational leadership starts with personal leadership. I hope you enjoyed this. Tune in for the next video. We're going to start breaking down each of those qualities of presence and personal leadership one at a time. Take care.